All right, so we're heading east on Highway E. We're north of Hartville, Missouri, and I believe we're getting close to the turnoff. We're going to go north. So for us, that'll be left onto the start of the easement road, and there it is. It's really not marked, so bring the maps or bring your MapRight app. You'll see a few mailboxes on the right, and then the gravel road on the left. Or on the north, I should say, but if you're coming from Hartville, it will be on the left. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set my trip meter here to get a good idea about how far it actually is to the property. There's quite a bit of gravel, so this will be, I'm going to call this four-wheel drive access. Probably a truck or an SUV is the way to go on this. I know there are people that drive this road in a car, but honestly, on any type of gravel easement road, a truck or an SUV to have a little extra clearance is always good. And there are times of the year when having the four-wheel drive can be really good. If it had just rained heavily or whatnot, always a good thing. Okay, so the road goes straight for about a quarter of a mile, and then we'll get to a Y in the road, and we're going to hang a left. So we'll veer to the left. There's the Y in the road. We're veering to the left and proceed toward the property. Okay. Beautiful area. Just gorgeous. So many deer out here and so many wild turkeys. It's just unbelievable. This is a very, very private property. One of the more private ones we've had. But we're only about, 5 miles out of Hartville, and an hour, maybe a little less than an hour out of Springfield. We came out of Springfield this morning, actually. I'm moving a little quickly here because I'm trying to keep this part short, and then when we get out onto the property and really check that out, spend a little more time there instead of just the drive to the property. If I wasn't moving quite so quickly, we probably would see some deer. But since I'm being pretty noisy today, they probably do hear us coming. Okay. I mean, you definitely do want the MapRight app, especially on your first trip, because it's very confusing with these kind of the network of easement roads. We've come to another Y in the road, and we're going to go left. At a minimum, have all the printed maps from the listing, but ideally get that MapRight app on your phone or tablet, and we can email you the actual interactive map. And that is the best way to get to the property. Now, this gravel creek bed, this is actually Crooked Creek. It's often dry in this spot, like it is today, but sometimes it does have some water, and probably a couple times a year it would have quite a bit of water. I've actually never seen it with enough water that it wouldn't be passable in a truck or an SUV, but I've heard that it can get that high. So now we've crossed over, and we're going to start going up a hill. Now, this isn't a super steep hill, but it's a very long hill. So another situation where four-wheel drive would generally be a good thing. You know, I turn my four-wheel drive on at the creek, but I'm going to turn it off because I want to get a feel for the steepness of this hill. So we're going to proceed in two-wheel drive And then if we start to slide around, we'll kick it into four-wheel drive. So like I said, it's not that it's extremely steep, but it is kind of a long hill. And we'll be getting close to the top where it will level off. There we go. So actually that really wasn't that bad. In my mind, that was a little worse than it really was. Okay, so we pulled to the top. I'm going to take a look at the MapRight app here and see where we are. Okay, so as I looked at the MapRight app, I realized that we're staring right at the property. So if we look at this happens to have a couple other tracts, but the one we're looking at is this parcel right here. If I zoom out a little bit, whoops. So this is having a little trouble loading. There we go. This is Highway E, that paved road. We went north on the gravel easement road, stayed to the left, crossed that creek bed, and came up the little hillside, or the little hill, and we're parked at the level area at the top of the hill. So we're right here. The easement road goes right, and the easement road goes left. But straight ahead of us is the property. So if we were to take a right, that would be the property on the left. When we go left, that'll be the property on the right. And that's the direction we'll go, because that's going to take us to the driveway where we can get into the property. Although straight ahead could potentially be another good building site. You'd have to cut in a driveway to get 100 feet off the road. So quite a bit of frontage on the gravel easement road. And in just a moment, we should see a driveway on the right. And there it is. Okay. So the easement road continues, but this is the private driveway into the property. I thought the gate opened inward. It may not. It opens outward, and I'm going to have to back up. Okay. So this should be interesting. This was a tract. It was either leased or sold for quite a while. And we reached an arrangement where we got it back. But there will probably be quite a bit of stuff on here. And we're going to check that out in a moment. Okay, so as we pull off the easement road, now we're on the private driveway. So this is no longer an easement. This is the private driveway on the property itself. And this should lead into a large level area. Gorgeous. Nice big timber, extremely, extremely private. I mean, you really don't get much more private than this. As we look to the left, we're not quite to the open area, but if you look to the left, there's this cleared area, and then it looks like someone had started digging a pretty large pond down there. And I don't know if they finished, but they had put a lot of work into it. That's on the property. Very long private driveway. I mean, if you're looking for a secluded property, wow. This is about as good as it gets. Okay. So now we're coming into what would have been the old building site, I believe. There we go. Interesting. All right, well, I'm going to park here and we're going to take a look at this because there's a lot to see here. All right, so this was clearly a home site for someone. We've got a small building over there. Quite a bit of trash scattered around here. There is an old RV. And actually, as I look the other way, I can see an old single-wide mobile home. Regarding the RV or the motorhome or the mobile home or any of that stuff, we obviously have no titles. I have no idea what the situation is. So it's kind of an as-is situation, I guess, as far as that goes. I believe there was another RV here or a camper that someone has moved off a while ago. They left the trash. There's a trampoline back there. That's cool. This is interesting. Over here, it looks like they began a cabin. We've got a wooden foundation and a stack of plywood, some other stuff. I don't know if that would be usable, but over here is another gorgeous potential building site. If you've ever done any cleanup on a property like this, then you probably know that it always looks worse than it is. If you have access to any kind of machinery with a loader or a bucket on it, a skid steer or a tractor with a loader, this stuff just doesn't take that long. Most of this stuff here, I mean, what we would do if we were to come out here and do it is push it into a central pile, burn the pile, and then you'll have a much smaller pile of what's left, and you can either bury that or just, you know, push it off in the woods out of sight, or have it hauled off. But yeah, the cleanup on something like this always looks a lot worse than it is. What I'm really seeing here is an awesome large flat building site with tons of big timber, lots of privacy. This old mobile home probably doesn't have any value. Maybe for scrap, I'm not sure. But again, this huge building site is the key. I was also told, and we'll verify this right now, yep, that there is indeed a drilled well on this property. And there it is right there. So that's an unbelievable bonus. The guy that was out here was completely off-grid. He had a generator, small generator. I think he probably did solar. I don't know if he did wind power or not. But that's how he would run the drilled well and whatnot. I have zero information on the well, other than it looks to be fairly new, and it was used until the stuff was pulled out of here. So, I mean, we've got the control box, we've got, everything looks fine on the well, but again, that's an as-is situation. I think it's a huge bonus. You be the judge. There's another pile of plywood. And I don't know what the status is on that. Some kind of storage shed, I guess. I'm not sure. So that gives you a pretty good look at this building site. I mean, the potential here is unbelievable. If we were to come in and spend the couple days to get it cleaned up, then the price would reflect that, and the price would be much, much higher. Because this is a prime spot for camping or possibly building or going off grid. I don't know how far power is. I know it's not on the property. This looks like possibly some type of pond, small pond. I see cattails. I mean, we've got trails, we've got just so much going on. Some nice timber on this property. Now this had some logging done, but it's been, geez, 10 years, 15 years. So you can see there's quite a bit of large timber and a lot of medium-sized timber as well. So we'll do a drone video as well today while we're out here, and you can check that out. But ultimately, please go to InstantAcres.com if you want to see if this property is still available. We update our website by the minute, so if you go to our actual website at InstantAcres.com, you can see exactly what's available. This one will go quickly because we basically never have a property with a drilled well or something this large and secluded. Lots of trails, really interesting. I'd love to spend the day out here and explore, but I think instead of that, we'll just do the drone video. We'll get a look at it from the air. If you have any questions, let us know. We'll help you out absolutely as much as we can. This is going to be a really special property for somebody. InstantAcres.com.